a lot of things. Um, but yeah, point them out to somewhere that could help. Oh, I had a friend who, they went through a divorce and they found this place really helpful, and share that kind of information. But it would be hard to, you know, not want to just be like, hey, let's go to lunch, but yeah, you don't want to do that.
Hmm.
Thank you for sharing your story with us, Josh.
Yeah, no problem. Any other thoughts on that?
Nope.
Okay. So, do you guys have any other issues that you guys see in society that are likely to impact the workplace of the future? Any other issues that you guys can think of?
I think politics sometimes people have their own opinions. I try to stay very neutral and don't share any of my opinions because people can get ugly when they're talking about politics. But that's an issue that I see. But I mean, it's not super bad. But
No, but definitely that can raise a lot of contention within the employees, and having different views can definitely, break apart the unity.
yeah,
It can create that bad work environment as well. I mean, you can always see those people that when they get on that, you're like, I am avoiding that person at all costs. Because if you don't like the confrontation, then you stay away from it. And that's what you do. So I can see how that would cause a lot of issues. I think one thing too that we see, um, especially now with technology, is that offices are becoming virtual. I mean, you Skype into work, or you um, video conference into work instead of being there in person, and then you do everything online. So I think that in the future will impact our jobs more than we realize. We're pretty dependent on our technology. I mean, look at our schooling. Look at how much we can do online. That for me, it was something that I could still go to school and be, 300 and some miles away. So it's been kind of nice to be able to still get my education and a good quality education and not have any issues. So I think we'll see that more in the workplace. Of course, there's always going to be need for those people to be on site, but I really do honestly think that most of our services jobs will go virtual.
Yeah, I definitely see that happening. And like you were saying, like it can definitely be a good thing, because it's a blessing to be able to, take these online classes from 300 plus miles away. But at the same time, in the business world, if we're so virtual, we're going to lose, like, personal contact, being able to meet face to face and have, personal interaction with people. I feel like
Hmm.
that's so much more of a concrete way to, exchange information and be able to, build relationships within a business. If you don't have, that that physical, you know, meeting, instead of just being virtual, it's, I don't know, I don't think that's going to be a positive thing in the future.
No, on that I think of Wally,
Yeah.
where everybody is sitting and talking on the computers instead of, I mean, they're passing each other every day, they're doing everything, but they don't even stop and look at what's around them.
That is so
So,
funny that you say that, because I was going to say the exact same thing, but I thought not to.
I've
Because
never seen that movie. I'm gonna have to go watch it.
oh, I love that movie. It's a good one.
it's good.
Especially with, like, so here on campus, a lot of kids have the new hoverboards. Have you guys seen those?
Mm-mm.
So it's just basically like two little wheels on a board, and you just lean forward and it goes. So it's like a
Oh,
Segway, but just on your feet. And it's funny because, like, I see at least two or three guys or girls on those things every day when I'm on campus, and they're on these Segways, and they're looking at their phones, either like on Facebook or calling at the same time. It's just like, wow, like, this is the first step towards Wally. So so it's kind of funny.
that's funny.
Any other thoughts or other issues that could come up to impact the workplace in the future? If not, the last thing that we need to talk about is just how do you guys think the workplace will change in the next 10 years? We kind of covered that a little bit, but like let's kind of dive into that a little bit more. What do you guys think?
Is it regarding these situations or just in general?
I think it's mostly in general, but we can also, kind of pertain it to the things that we've talked about so far.
I honestly don't think things will change that much unless we have more terroristic activities and people just refuse to go to work and leave their home. Um, I I think you always need to have that relationship with your coworkers and other people just in order to get things done. I mean, I can in my calling, send out an email to everybody and have a conversation with them through email, but they don't read it or they don't do what they're asked to do in an email. And so unless you're sitting right in front of them and kind of put them on the spot and give them, okay, what are you going to do for this? Then they contribute. And I think that you lose that, like you were saying before. You lose it if you don't have personal contact with people. And so I think that that's really important.
We need to
Yeah.
have that personal contact too for our own sanity. People, when they distance themselves, that's why we get people like the Unabomber. And you look back in history, and all of those that seclude themselves from society are not complete. They're not whole. So not having that people contact is not good for people. So
Right.
you really do need that personal contact, and you think of how the brain works too. That when it comes to personal touch, just touching somebody affects how your brain reacts and how your brain is wired. Um, it's just one of those things. As people, we need people. I don't know if guys feel the same way, but I know women need other women. It just doesn't happen any other way. But however, when you get 3 women together, that's not good. You can do 2, you can do 4, but never an odd number. It doesn't work.
Oh, that's
But
funny.
you still have to have that personal contact, and that's another reason that um, as a mom, um, I always try and at least hug the kids twice a day or something, but because it helps boost those endorphins in your body that help you be happy. It helps you focus. It helps you maintain a balance in your life. If you want feng shui, I guess, there's so many things out there that you wouldn't realize that personal contact affects your relationships, your communication, your business life. I just wrote an article and did some research on how writing affects, texting and writing affects your business. And it was interesting to see all the little details in that even. So if we don't have that personal contact, we are going to lose touch with reality.
That's an awesome point. Thank you so much, Emily. That's a really good point you made there. And it's the same for guys as well. Obviously, we need to have that physical touch as well. Because like when I came home from my mission, one of the things that I wanted more than anything in the world was a hug from my mom. Like I missed it so bad. So yeah, it's a really good point.
And I was going to say along the same lines of what everyone else has been saying, I think in the next 10 years, like the article that we read, offices are going to be more like an open concept. Everyone mingles with each other. And I like how it brought up the point where it can be hard to focus sometimes when that happens. But then after a while, you just adapt to it and you actually like start to focus more because there's so much going on around you. You have to really focus on what you're doing. And so I think that's going to help. And then yeah, so I think it's becoming more important to have that face-to-face interaction. And I think it kind of slipped away. I don't know, maybe it's just like my generation or whatever. But I see all these older people coming in and they talk to us about things and they're like, you have to network. And then me growing up, yeah, I heard about it, but I was never like taken to a person's office or with my classes or whatever. I was never showed how to do it, or I just never really heard about it. And then when I came to college, everyone's like network, 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 and all this stuff. So I think it kind of got lost, but I could see it coming back, and having that stronger person to person connection. So yeah, and I hope that it does. I hope that we see the importance of it and still want to have that conversation with people, and over the next 10 years that it doesn't go away.
I agree. I hope it doesn't go away either. I mean, I like the aspect of being able to work virtually, but I don't think it should be done all the time. I think there are points to where you really do need to be in person. Meeting with a client in person is so much easier than meeting with a client online, or conference calls. Oh my goodness, I've had to do conference calls this semester and absolutely hate them because you can't always hear clearly. You can't read body language. For me, that's huge. You can really tell a lot about a person if you can read their body language, or if you are boring them to tears. In a virtual conference call, you can't do that. You can't tell, okay, are they understanding? Are they, do I need to cover another point better? Because there's a lot you can learn from actually watching people and reading their body language.
Definitely. Well, you guys have brought up some really good points. Thanks for all your ideas and thoughts on that. Any other last comments or anything else you guys would like to add?
Oh, I'm quiet today.
Okay, well, I think that about does it for the discussion today. Obviously, we need to go ahead and talk about the doohickey problem. I was going over just like what we're supposed to talk about today, and I'm not exactly sure what we're supposed to cover. It just says, what are the HR issues, problems that you can identify at doohickey based on what you learned in these lessons. So what are some things that we can apply here?
I think the workplace balance, the work-life balance, that could be an issue for doohickey.
That sounds wonderful. Take it. Because I was sitting here going, I have no idea. I was just skimming through the whole case going, I don't even know. So workplace balance. Keep going, Emily.
Well, I read the case and I'm thinking, okay, well, they don't have any, they hire friends of friends. I mean, can you imagine what working there is like? You're with your buddies 24/7. What do buddies do? I mean, they hang out, they talk, they don't focus on work. It's got to be an issue in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not one of those friends, do you fit in? Do you have chance for promotions?
Probably not. The friends are always going to have, first pick.
Yeah, well, and they specifically say, they hire the CEOs and the higher ups from friends, and the ones that are in the back don't ever move from where they're at. And so, yeah, they kind of segregate their workers, and so I don't know. It's a balancing act. It really is. What do you guys think?
And we've kind of talked about this in like our other doohickey papers, but like we read in that article about having that open floor plan. You know, I can't remember. I think it was the CEO of what
Michael
was that big?
Bloomberg and Twitter.
Yeah, and how his office was just like a desk in the middle of the floor. Everyone had access to him. And so I think a lot of the issues were communication, and that the lower line workers didn't have communication with the upper management people.
Hmm.
And so I think that's another problem that, yeah.
Okay.
You
So
know what?
when,
I hate that idea. I hate it. Because
What?
I'm just saying in not your idea, but just having your office right in the middle and having like no cubicles, cubbies, what are those? Cubicles. I seriously, I can't focus if there's a bunch of noise, if there's people, I'm looking around going, ooh, I need to go talk to them. Hey, how you doing? How's your date? You know, I just want to have conversations with them, and I can't focus that way. And I know that they said the more you're in it and the more you do it, the easier it is to get used to it. I can't do it. Can't do it. But maybe it's
Well,
just me.
no, I can see your point there, Becky. For me as a manager, you need to be accessible, but you also have work to get done. And if you constantly have people looking at you and constantly coming up to your desk, I mean, we're talking the entire time you're at work, you will always have somebody coming up to your desk. You will
Yep.
never get anything done. I hate to say it that way, and I know I know that it'll change and that people will do what they have to do, but it's still, I just think of it too. I'm going, it's like being a mom. You can't go into the bathroom without somebody disturbing you. I mean,
Here.
I don't know. I can kind of see issues with it, but I can also see the good side. I mean, at least then they know where the boss is at all the time, and they can say, well, he's right there. He's not skipping out on work, or he's not out playing golf, when he should be at work.
Right.
It does kind of balance it out a little bit, but I can see your point. I mean, I would probably be at the same situation. I know when I'm working on homework, I'm like, I hide in the bedroom so that I can focus and get it done. Because otherwise, I'd be out doing things with the kids, or solving their homework issues, or whatever it needs to be. I mean, I have to balance the fact of, okay, now it's kid time, now it's mom time, now it's homework time, whatever. So I can see how it would cause issues.
Yeah.
okay, so just to recap real quick. So it says that we're supposed to come up with three issues or problems, and we're supposed to write a paragraph describing each of these problems in detail. And then within those three problems, we need to brainstorm at least 4 possible solutions for that issue identified. So the 3 that I wrote down so far are communication, work-home balance, and then the open space discussion, like the pros and cons there. So I mean, those are the 3 we can keep on brainstorming. What do you guys think?
We already have one from last week, our week 11, the layoffs and dismissals issue.
Okay.
Right? So this week we need to plan something around work balance, workplace balance, which could include home life, but there's really nothing in the doohickey story that kind of talks about
Their home life.
that. Yeah.
Okay. The other thing too, I don't know if you guys were able to watch the meeting from last week, but we only have to have 2 problems.
Perfect.
Oh.
We don't have to have 3 this week. We only have to have 2 for this paper. So we're going to have to work together in teams and figure out how to write this up.
Okay.
So what are going to be our solutions for this problem? Because our problem was the workplace balance. That there was not a balance between communication, between policies. I mean, I think we can all tie that together about, yeah. We could say that we don't know much about their home life or about, what's going on there. But we could say that there is not a balance within the company itself.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that is because of personal issues going on at home. We don't know. But there has to be a balance between communication, between policies, between...
And kind of like Emily said, there's no lack of cohesion. They're all working separately, but not together. They're not communicating together. They're not hiring together. They're not planning or making wonderful ideas together. They're all doing their own separate thing, but it's not cohesive.
I would agree there. I think that with the balance aspect, one of the solutions could be that they need to have more of an open door policy. To me, in the case, it seems like the CEO shuts himself off from everybody else. So perhaps he needs to be one of those that maybe not necessarily put his desk out in the middle of the floor, but at least make himself more accessible to everybody in the company. Perhaps have better meetings or rearranging the office so they're not so shut off, or moving people around.
And he also seems to only hear the bad things. And so he has a bad attitude and a bad connotation of his employees because that's the only thing he hears. Well, they did this, they did this, they did this. Not, oh, look at this wonderful thing that they did. And so he's going to complain about it, and good point. Good point.
Okay.
So we had talked about solution of not hiring friends of friends, right? And then having an open door policy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've already covered like promotion earlier.
Yeah.
But I think Jordan's right, that balance thing. How do we balance out the whole company and make them more cohesive?
So I was just to kind of recap real quick. So we're gonna this week we're gonna write it on work and home balance, correct? Or do we need 2 problems this week?
We just need one problem because we have one problem from last week already, and so this one will be our second problem.
Okay. And so just some of the things that we, as far as like, I guess, what's the word? Solutions can be for that, or like I've just wrote down everything you guys have said, just like with communications, the policies, there's not a balance within the company itself. There's no lack of cohesion. Then within the open space, we want the manager to make himself more accessible. And then he also has a problem with negative attitude. And then what was the last thing that you just said, Emily? What was the question that you raised?
No, well, and just how to balance it all out, making them realize that there's more to work than just your desk.
So maybe a solution would be to see, I think this week is just going to be like brainstorming like weird ideas, because there has to be a balance. You have to get people to communicate more. So maybe they need to build a new lunch space, because you remember reading it was like as soon as the lunch bell rang, everyone ran in. The lower employees, ran into the lunch place, sat down, and didn't talk to anyone. So maybe there needs to be built a new lunch space where it's the only place for everyone to go, management included. Everyone in the company gathers in just this one area.
I love it.
I like it too.
Yeah. I think more working in teams. I don't see any teamwork in here. I know the downsides and the upsides both to group work, but I think that they need some group work. They need to be able to work on projects together. I think that would help.
Okay.
Sounds awesome.
Okay, and I have that we need one more.
Yeah, so we got 3 so far. That we're gonna make. You guys said something about like open space, having the manager more accessible, a new lunch space so that everyone, including management, gathers into one area, and then more group work. And
Not hiring friends of friends, figuring out a new hiring policy. Have we already done that?
Yeah, we covered that one.
Okay.
So what's another idea here? Let's think.
Well, it says in here you notice the manufacturing technicians look bored and unmotivated.
Okay.
So how do you... I know that goes back to motivation, but I think that we could tie that in, I don't know, somehow. I'm trying to think here.
Take the entire company to Hawaii.
No, wouldn't that
Company
be
vacation.
Give them hams at Christmas time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that in there somehow, Emily. You can watch.
I think Becky loves ham.
I don't like ham. I hate it.
Oh,
It's cheap. It's cheap at Christmas. You can get it for like 99 cents a pound. Awesome. Okay, what can we do? What if we had like an employee of the month?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could do that. I think another thing too that companies do that I don't see in doohickeys is like company picnics. You know, company gatherings.
Have we done that one already? Like as a motivational thing?
I don't think so.
No, and I think that would actually be really good. You know, we have to come up with some kind of program or activity that gets people out of the office to develop a relationship with other people and their families, you know. If this is a small town, like, you know, in that one case that we read a while ago, everyone works with each other. You see each other at the grocery store. You see, you know, your kids go to school together with their kids. So I think that's a good idea to get the balance that we want, you know. It has to be fun, but then when it comes to work, we have to work, but we still all know each other.
Sounds good. Love it.
Sorry, there's a vacuum going, so if you guys hear some feedback, that's why. Sorry.
Not bad.
Okay, so how are we going to address writing this, guys? I can put out the Google Doc this week.
Okay.
We do have to have this done by Wednesday of next week.
Right. So since there's 4 of us, well, Bryce said he wanted to contribute, even though he wasn't able to be here. So I mean, we got 4 solutions to our issue. So let's see. So someone needs to write a paragraph describing each of the 3, or I'm sorry, describing the problem in detail. So, you know, whoever wants to do that, and then the other 4 can take the 4 solutions that we came up with.
I like how we split up the intro and the conclusion with whoever's editing, because it does make it a little easier to write.
Right.
So we can have one person still do that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to mute this real quick.
Josh, give me a thumbs up. Do you want to do the conclusion? Okay. So then Jordan and Emily, which...
So we could give Bryce the introduction because he wasn't here today, but then yeah, I guess you could just look at our past papers and like base it off of that. Because I know when I did the introduction, I would just like write out the problems that we're going to discuss in our paper, but then you have to also give a little extra there too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I think he would be able to do that with not being at the past 2 meetings that we've had.
Okay. I think that's probably a good spot for him. Who wants to edit this week?
I can do the work balance one.
You're going to do the balance?
Yeah, I'll do the one we did today. The problem and the solutions.
Okay.
And then, so I could be like the final editor and submit it, but then also if you want me to, like I could write both of your problem paragraphs, like opening paragraphs, and then you two would just write out the 4 solutions. Because Emily, aren't you doing the other problem?
Yeah, and I can't remember what our other problem is, so I hope somebody
Yeah. They have
Yeah,
the
it was-
dismissals.
Yeah, we have no standard procedure for hiring. We need a better procedure for firing. And then you have no performance appraisals to base when you lay someone off on. We don't have any performance appraisals done.
Okay. So yeah, I can cover that one. That's not a problem. So it's going to come down to who's going to edit this week.
I think Jordan just said she was. Oh. Jordan, do you want to write the 2 paragraphs, the 2 problems, and edit, or do you want Josh to edit and write the final?
Because didn't we usually do whoever wrote the concluding paragraph also kind of
Edited.
yeah, they just like looked over the paper and just said, okay, yeah, that's good. But then in that concluding paragraph, you have to write out what is our most important issue. And you talk about the pros and cons of that issue. Like, so the concluding paragraph is going to be pretty, like, and I don't even know what we want to talk about is our main issue that we're going to write in this last paragraph.
Could we make it like for the whole, instead of just these 2 problems, like for the whole doohickey thing that we've been talking about, what do we think is the main problem?
Yeah, we can do that.
And what do we think the main problem is?
I think that their lack of communication and policies, they don't have any policies in order, and that kind of messes up everything, and their communication.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, I can do the conclusion and then also edit and then the the ultimate problem. I can definitely do that. I just put on the group chat just the notes I took that the second problem that we're going to be writing on is work home balance, and then I just took some notes there, but then I labeled 1, 2, 3, 4 as the 4 solutions to that you guys came up with. So if you guys want to copy and paste that just for your notes, that if you want to, that's good.
Okay, so Josh, if you're going to be putting this all together, when do you want it by if it's due next Wednesday?
Let's get it done by the weekend, so that way we can just get it submitted and not have to worry about it.
So you want it by Friday or Saturday?
Saturday's fine. Like, it doesn't have to be done by Friday.
Okay. So like Saturday by midnight?
Sure. Is that good with you guys?
Emily, Jordan?
Yeah, I was going to suggest having it done by the weekend. That way, if the last half week of school we have finals, we don't have to worry about this class.
Yeah.
Yep, it works. I have a lot of other stuff I'm trying to get done for finals week because I'm moving that week, so
Oh wow.
it works.
Okay, so Jordan, you're going to be writing up the problems for Emily and I, and then Emily and I are just writing up solutions. Bryce is writing up the introduction, and Josh is editing the final conclusion and turning it in.
Okay, so make sure I get this right. Jordan, you're going to write the intro paragraph for our solutions, correct?
Yeah, I'll write out your problem paragraphs, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Do you know when you're going to do that by? Because I'm going to kind of go off that. I guess I don't really have to since I already know the solutions. Okay.
Yeah, and Emily, if you want to get another Google Doc started, I'll copy and paste this on here. The 4 solutions and the problems and who's doing what.
Okay, I have the I'm working on that right now.
Okay.
So I will share it in just 1 second. Let me get up here and share this.
Thanks, Emily. So, okay, just to recap. So Jordan is doing the problem paragraphs. Bryce has the introduction.
Yeah.
Josh, do you want someone else to edit it?
Because I'll be doing the conclusion and then the ultimate problem, right?
Well, yeah, like the conclusion is the big problem. I think
Okay.
if you look at the doohickey thing, it says your concluding paragraph should be what is the main issue that you want to discuss.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, the concluding paragraph. So
Yeah.
I can work on that with you if you want me to.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be good, just to make sure that we, make a solid paper here.
Yeah.
Is anybody really good at editing? I mean, the editing can be really hard. You have to make sure everything looks fine.
Not me.
But I think me and Jordan can do that. Like I'll do most of it, but Jordan, you can also look it over and make sure.
Yeah, and I think when I was the editor, like I was like, whatever, I trust you guys. Like I read some of it, but then I was like, I'm not gonna read this entire paper. I was like, I trust you guys, and we've gotten good grades on the past ones, and so I'm like, yeah, just turn it in.
Yeah, well, and when I was editing it, I basically went through and did the spell check and the grammar check. I noticed that when we write papers, we write with a lot of would be, could be, should be, so the passive tense. So trying to fix that passive tense is very difficult, but I think we did really well in it. And yeah, I didn't read the whole paper either, but I did try and skim enough to at least make it cohesive, because we all have different writing styles.
Yeah, I did the same thing, and we've gotten good grades, so I think we're good.
Awesome.
Okay.
And so, Becky, what are you doing? Just so I
I'm
can put
doing
it in the chat.
the 4 solutions for workplace balance that we talked about today.
Okay, I've shared this with all of you, so you should be able to get into it.
Yeah, I got the email already.
Great.
And then, Emily, what are you doing on the paper?
The layoff and dismissal solutions, the ones from last week.
Okay. Awesome. Open dismissal. Oh, there's 2 S's. Okay. There you go. So whoever wants to copy and paste that into the Google Doc, it's all there.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, cool. We'll get it done by, and yeah, Emily and Becky, I'll have mine done probably by Wednesday, if not sooner. So I don't know. I'm debating on that whether just to do the final for this class like today. So we'll see.
All right. Is this our last? Are we done?
This is our last meeting.
All right. It's been a pleasure. Emily, good luck with graduating and working. Josh, good luck with your healthcare administration, and have fun with all the girls. And Jordan, good luck to you graduating. I'm so excited for you. It's been a pleasure. Nice meeting you guys.
Yeah, you too.
It's been fun.
All right. Well, good luck on your paper. Our paper.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.